Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Laws. I'm the Senior Director of our Technical Sales team here at Symphony AI Business IT. And along with me is Jason Yuri. Jason is a Senior Solutions Consultant for the Business IT division. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Tim. How are you?
Doing very well. Thanks for joining me
Good.
today. I'm going to jump
Thanks for
right
having me.
into, to my presentation real quick. And we will go ahead and get started. All right, so for those of you that don't know us, we are Symphony AI Summit. We are an enterprise AI for multiple divisions. See if I can get my scroll to work here. There we go. We'll start with what our vision is. So our vision is to accelerate revenue growth and unleash mission-critical business productivity through generative and predictive AI. And our mission is to build enterprise AI SaaS, be a leading company there. We're doing that through our 5 divisions that we have: retail and CPG, financial services, industrial, media, and business IT. And we were Symphony AI Summit previously. We've now been rebranded to Business IT. So forgive me if I say Summit a couple of times. Still new for all of us. Now, how are we doing this? We're a leader in the AI space with deep vertical expertise. We have over 2,000 customers worldwide. We're serving the top 15 grocers, top 25 CPG companies, easy for me to say, and 200 of the top financial institutions. We're an industry leader in generative and predictive AI. We're a clear differentiator in horizontal AI platforms and legacy vertical solution providers. And we have over 2,400 employees who are located in 33 countries around the globe. Here is a sneak peek at some of our customer base. There's definitely going to be some logos that y'all will recognize there, but we have 30 of the top 50 grocers worldwide, 25 of the top 25 CPG companies, and 33 of the top 100 financial institutions. Some of our awards and recognitions that we've collected, including our diverse customer base. Business IT is the most preferred enterprise class ITSM solution on Gartner Peer Insights for 5 years in a row. Very proud about that, with an 85% recommendation rate. We made it to the on the Gartner Magic Quadrant as a honorable mention in 2022. And we've been the voice of the customer for ITSM platform 5 years in a row as well. We're a leader on ISG's provider lens for enterprise service management. And now we'll go into the sort of the topology of our platform. So business IT or employee service management, that can be used in any division throughout an organization. So you can see those listed on top there. We have multiple systems of engagement. This is via web chat, email, the communication tool of choice you might be using, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Google Chat, etc. We offer a robust web portal, web services, and a mobile application for both end users and analysts and managers. We have multiple systems of intelligence. We have intent identification, classification, workload management, intelligent self-service, which is where our AI comes in, and a robust automation engine. Part of our solution stack includes IT service management, so your incident, problem, change, release, enterprise service management, IT and enterprise asset management. We offer an agent and agentless-based discovery, including a plethora of integrations with other asset tracking tools. We have service automation through our orchestration module, which can create zero-touch tickets for a lot of situations, and our generative AI copilot. Now, our platform is a secure multi-tenant architecture. We have an integration hub, SLA designer, service portal designer, workflow and business rule designer, etc. Now, going into our enterprise service management capabilities, we offer a low-code, no-code platform. It's multi-tenancy, meaning it can work for multiple departments within a single organization or multiple customers within an MSP. We have persona-based user dashboards, a very robust reporting module, and along with a business rule designer. We support HR cases, facility, finance, legal, etc. Going back to the asset management, we have IT asset discovery, hardware and software management, asset lifecycle management, as well as compliance. We offer an agentless architecture when it comes to service automation. So that's those zero-touch scenarios where an employee can submit a ticket. Our orchestration engine can see what's happening there, run some scripts, and automatically resolve that incident for the end user without an analyst actually touching it. We offer hundreds of integrations out of the box. In our generative AI copilot, we have advanced NLU, service desk intelligence, live agent transfer, and a conversational studio. All right, with that, I'll kick it over to you, Jason.
Thank you, Tim. I'm going to share my screen here. So we're going to go through our Apex platform today, go through service management, touch on some asset management. I'm going to start out as an end user persona, what that may look like for an end user logging tickets in the system, navigating the system. We'll switch over to like an analyst type role, how you would work those tickets or manage things within the tool, and then switching it into more of an admin type role, and talking really about the customization options and configuration that we offer from our platform, studio and design studio components. So again, we'll go in as Ryan to start out with. So Ryan's going to be our end user role. Ryan's going to have access to certain options here. We could like to look at this as kind of like turning on your smart TV. We have applications that are available to Ryan. He's got service management and asset management applications. So just like if you turn on a smart TV, you might have your different applications that are on your smart TV. And when you select that application, you're going to be presented with that interface for that application. So we can have different interfaces as we build additional applications, whether that be service management or asset management, an HR case management application. We have discovery and service automation. Those are options as well. So presenting that to Ryan in this case as an end user with the options that he has. So if he selects his service management application, he's presented with his end user portal. So this is one view of like a portal that we could provide Ryan. So it's a nice Google-like experience. We've got that search box right there in front and center. His ability to log an incident, log a request, browse the knowledge base, go to the community, seeing some information about incidents and service requests that have been logged, things like that in this case. So if as that search like capability, again, I might search for like a VPN issue as an example. And I might be presented with like incidents or requests or knowledge base articles that might, solve my issue, like how to configure a VPN. That brings me to a knowledge base article, very robust knowledge base, rich text formatting, nice, large video here that we can follow step-by-step instructions. The ability to provide feedback and rate this article, how it's helped me. That can help, IT facilities, HR, whoever, to improve on their articles that they provide, their solutions. So we can keep track of those overall ratings. Now, Ryan also could have access to different types of portals. So we might have like a, intranet portal as an example. So here's some additional portals. So if an intranet portal makes sense, that might be a one-stop shop that you want to set up for your users. So not only does it give them those quick actions of logging an incident, a request, knowledge base, but also links to other sites that you might offer, like your HR portal or travel, My Academy, My Performance. Those are links to additional, sites. So it gives them kind of a one-stop shop to go in and find issues or solutions to issues that they might be facing, submit tickets, whether it be to HR facilities or whoever, and also quick links to other, relevant sites for them to visit. Or you could have like an end user services, demo. This is one that provides both IT and HR as different portals here. This is more robust for that user. It does provide a nice, video we've got posted here. We've got our, technology issue, knowledge base, things like that, outages. We've got some details here with graphs and tables for them to be able to see additional things within the tool. So you can really customize these however you want them for the user to really see the information they need to see. Again, HR is here, which gives a different look and feel to it than your IT services for login, HR case, looking at an HR portal, those types of things. Now, if I were to go ahead and log a ticket as Ryan, I'm presented with the new incident creation page. So Ryan has access to the different tenants, so HR and IT as an example. Selecting that tenant or department for support will also provide AI-based, suggestions. So this is just the top suggestions based off of feedback and views for IT in particular. But that'll get narrowed down as we start to fill this out. Now, I do have a field for service. It's not required, as you can see, so I don't have to fill that out. I can categorize my issue, list of my issues, and maybe it's a VPN issue. Um, and I might put in like VPN, and so you can see there's suggested solutions of that now narrowed down to that configure VPN. So I can click to view those steps. Same thing that I did when I did the search there on the portal. But that way, if your users bypass the search box and go directly into submitting a ticket, you can still present them with the relevant articles that might solve the issue that they're having. You will notice it did open in a new tab, so I'm not losing the information that I've already put in. So I can put in VPN connectivity issues, put a description in here, unable to connect to the VPN. I also have the ability to copy and paste like screenshots as an example, so I can drag and drop screenshots in there. These like description box, there is a maximize, so I can bring that out to give me more real estate to add additional information and all the different formatting options for those descriptions that we need to present that. So information, then again, fill that out. I've filled out everything that's required. I can attach additional files if I need to, but I'm going to save that, and it's going to log that incident on my behalf and give me a view of the incidents that I have logged and the current status of those incidents. Now, the incident I just submitted, I can click on that incident ID. It's going to give me information about that ticket, symptom, the description I just put in, that screenshot that I pasted in there of the error message. I can see the general information. I can see if the solution's been provided. I can see who it's assigned to. I can see it's level 1 help desk, but it's not assigned to an analyst yet. So I can keep track of that incident as an end user, update the incident if I have additional information, or cancel the incident if I've solved the issue myself. Now, if I go back to my portal, I also have the ability to log a service request. So different than an incident in the fact that you've got services that you offer as a catalog. This will give you the most popular items in IT is where I'm at right now. If I switch that to HR, I'm going to get the most popular HR related ones. When I select those tenants, I also have the ability to select my category. I can search through the things, search through the categories, select categories. I can scroll through and it'll continue to load additional items as I scroll down the page. Once I find the thing that I need, so maybe I need shared folder access as an example, I can select that form that's built out for that with specific information that's related to shared folder access. And these typically would have like a workflow associated with them with approvals or maybe tasks that need to kick off. This is also where we could leverage the service automation that Tim had mentioned. That can be that zero touch scenario. So maybe we request this access. I select my specific department that I need. I put in the folder path of where I need that. I need the IT, ITSM, projects folder as an example. So I might put that in as the folder path. Access type, I just need read access. I don't need write access. Provide my remarks. Need read access to projects folder. And again, I can submit that. And then it could go through a particular workflow, and that workflow could maybe get the approval for the projects folder. Once that approval is checked off, we could provide that access automatically using service automation. It could run, PowerShell, Python, VB script, run those particular scripts to provide that access. So it's very little or zero touch again for an analyst to provide that access if the person that owns the projects folder approves it. So now your end users could also have access to other things if you wanted them to be able to submit change requests, you want them to be able to view reports, those are types of things that you could provide for them as well, so that they could access those items. From there, I'm going to go ahead and log out of our end user, and I'm going to log in as Maxwell. So Maxwell is going to be our analyst role. So Maxwell is also presented with that application page for him to select his applications. So access to that service management, asset management, as well as now discovery. So Maxwell can do discovery, can look at the discovery jobs for scanning and finding assets to populate our asset asset list within this the tool. So he has access to all of those items. Selecting service management again, Maxwell's presented as an analyst, and he's presented an analyst dashboard. So similar in nature to the end user, we have that ability for searching. So Maxwell could search for the issue that if I need to find like a VPN, as an example, I might want to look for VPN incidents or VPN requests or change requests, knowledge base articles, whatever those might be. I might want to view that information. I can search for that and get presented with the results. You can see where there's a lot more data on this. This isn't just like log an incident, log a request like an end user. Maxwell's presented with all these numbers of like how many incidents is Maxwell working, how many service requests is he working, how many critical tasks are in the system, his team, how many incidents and requests and stuff are they working as a team as a whole. So that's a lot of information we would present to Maxwell as an overview. You can also see our tabbed approach here. If he wanted to narrow it down to just incidents and get specific around incidents, change requests, problems, all of those are things that we could present to Maxwell. Now Maxwell wants to work the open incidents. He can select from that number there, and it's going to go ahead and pull up the incidents list for Maxwell with specific filters in place. So right now we're looking at my work group incidents. So that's the filter criteria that we set. We might want to choose all incidents so we can see everything in the system. So those are different views that you can create. You can save those views so you can see what the different views that we have. We can quickly access those. We can filter these, using different properties, filter sets, create, and or scenarios with filter sets to get the view that we need. Again, we can save those. We can filter and sort on individual columns. We can add columns and reorder columns that we're seeing on the screen. The columns are drag and drop, so status, maybe we move closer to the front. We can just drag and drop that status and see that information in the way that makes the most sense for us as a user. Once we select that item, so right now, again, we're going to go into that VPN connectivity issue that I just submitted as Ryan. Now, viewing this from the analyst role, you can see there's a lot more information being displayed on the screen, and we do have the AI popping up immediately when I click into this. This is a choice whether or not you want this to pop up immediately or you want that to be a selection to get the intelligence. The intelligence is based off of historical data. So how are you leveraging the system? Tickets that are similar in nature, what work group is it being assigned to? What's the impact urgency? Category classification. These are things that are picked up over time. You can turn that off. So like maybe impact isn't apply in this scenario. Urgency doesn't apply in this scenario. Why does it not apply? And that can help feed that algorithm so that it improves on this behavior moving forward. Now, as I was mentioning, there's a lot more information on this screen. So, obviously when we selected it as Ryan as an end user, we're presented with, very little information because, Ryan doesn't need to see all of the things that we're working on and all of the additional detail. But as an analyst, I want to see everything. So I'm seeing my symptom, my description. I'm seeing all the general information that I might need to select from. Classifications of this ticket, prioritization of this ticket, any SLAs that are assigned. I can put my effort information in here of how long I've worked on this, keep track of those things. We can do messages, user communication, and private log. So communicate with the user or just log things, internally for yourself. We have the ability to do solutions and checklists, troubleshooting how we're working this particular issue, link to other items in the system. So link to maybe assets, incidents, problems, changes. All of those get displayed in here, and the ability to create those as well. So off of this item, we could create a problem if this has been an ongoing thing, or create a change that needs to be recorded off of this as well. Vendor info if you're using that, and timeline for different things as status changes, analyst changes. We can put a timeline in place to do timestamps on particular items. And then the orchestration, I mentioned that there's no workflows currently running on this, but this would be where the workflow for that service automation could kick in. So, if in this particular scenario, we're not going to do that on an incident, but maybe that service catalog item, we might have that orchestration running a script to provide that access once the workflow moved forward in the process. These are all customizable, so everything you see from this form can be modified. So everything you see, not only just the tabs, but the individual fields, they're all modified. It's all a low-code, no-code environment, and I'll show you that as we move into the admin role, how easy it is to modify these things. Now, Maxwell also has the ability, as he's working this ticket, up here in the upper right, we do have the change history, so it logs everything that's ever been done, with the changes on the ticket, communication that's taken place. There's no communication here. There's no workflows here. There hasn't been any linking here. This is a brand new ticket. So you'll see those things as the ticket moves forward. Those changes and everything get logged as part of the audit, including access, who's actually opened the ticket. So Ryan obviously accessed it because he created it, and then Maxwell, I'm the analyst and I just opened it. So that'll keep track of those as you move forward. So even if a change isn't made on the ticket, it still registers as being accessed. You also have the ability to do templates. So like if we're working a ticket and when we want to import like from a template, maybe that's when we're creating a ticket for a user, we might have a template that we would use that pulls in all of the fields that we need. So we don't have to type all those things in again. We have that capability. We do have a Copilot experience, built in. Some of the things that we'll add into that. Not only will we have a Copilot experience for the users to where they could communicate, ask questions, and things. We're incorporating that in a lot of other areas, like generate a summary of this ticket. So the Copilot would run and generate a summary here of what's taken place on this ticket over time. So right now, that's going to give us nothing because it was just logged. Maybe over time, if like there's been a lot of history, a lot of communication on that, we could generate a summary and it could analyze the ticket as a whole. And then hidden within the menu in the upper right is some other options that you might be using, like setting a reminder on the ticket, remote desktop capabilities, those AI suggestions that popped up automatically when we opened this. Those are in there. If we need to transfer the incident between departments, so maybe it comes into IT but needs to go to HR. Suggestions of knowledge-based articles that might solve the issue. Converting this, so maybe we need to, it comes in as an incident, but it needs to be a service request. We can do that there. View the user records history. So separate from change history, user records history gives us all of the incidents, service requests, change requests that Ryan has logged. We'll pull those that history into this particular view as well. And then sending an email, which is, you can still do that through the messages down here, but if you wanted to send an email and you just wanted to use like a notification template that's already been created, who do you want to send that to? Doesn't have to necessarily be the requester. You could send emails from the ticket and log that as part of the history of the ticket with that communication history. Moving out of the incident itself, I will hop into the service requests. Pop this out. So service requests, just so we can get an idea of what that looks like. I'll look at one that's awaiting approval. So I'll go USB access down here is awaiting approval. This is just to show where we have our approval process. So in this case, we're currently waiting for the reporting manager approval. It's level 1. We can select that. It shows us who the approver is, what the status is, currently pending for approval. So we're waiting on Grace to approve this. We've got general information, catalog details, what's been submitted, access needed, when do they need it, when, how long do they need it, those types of things. So we can see that from the person that's approving that. We can also view that full workflow. So we can see where we are in the workflow. So we've gone through a couple different steps in this workflow process. You can see that indicated by the green arrow, and we're currently sitting on this reporting manager approval. And we've got our different workflows based off of that, the approval or the rejection, and what it sets the status to, what the email looks like, all those things is built as part of the workflow. And those are all drag and drop as well from the admin's standpoint. I am going to log out now as Maxwell and log in as our admin. I'm going to touch on a couple things here as the admin before we get into the design stuff. I did want to point out a couple things from an asset standpoint. So just going into asset management in general, as I mentioned, we can do discovery through jobs, through agentless and agent-based discovery, and our assets can be fed into our asset list. So from an asset management standpoint, you can see dashboard-wise, we're looking at asset specific, so different from your service management side of things where you're looking at your different incidents. We can see our different assets by operating system with warranty expirations, different statuses that we might have in the system. Asset management can be we support everything from your fixed assets to accessories, consumables, contracts, software assets. All of those are available with approval processes for those as well. So as things are being allocated or deallocated or deactivated, there can be an approval process that it needs to go through in order to move it forward. So, and if we're managing our assets, so from a fixed asset list, we have that same filtering capability on these assets. So we can filter by our different, columns here. So we can filter by model or make. We can do advanced filters, which is allowing you to do those filter sets with and or. All of those are available, as well as the ability to save those views so you can pull them up. And then the assets themselves, again, we can see that workflow timeline. So we have timelines and workflows with different status changes, notifications, approvals for your assets. And then just the ability to view all the information on it. So asset information, discovery information. So discovery tab shows us, everything that's been discovered. So this would give us hardware, software, and device manager. This is manually entered, so there's no discovery information on this, but that's where we would display that information, as we find that asset. Assets can be, moved. So we've got like movement passes, we've got allocation, deallocation of assets. All of those are available with our fixed assets. And then I will move back out. I'll go into service management again. You can see from Frederick's standpoint, he's an admin, so he has that same like analyst capability. So you see in kind of the analyst dashboard here, maybe has additional portals that he can view, like an executive dashboard that's pulling up a lot more information just from a kind of a reporting standpoint. All of this is outside of the reporting proper. So this is just a dashboard that we've created for Frederick. The difference being here from Frederick's standpoint is that he does have the settings, cog up here in the upper right. Within settings, we've got our platform studio and our design studio. Those are the two primary ones we will be focused in on. From a platform studio standpoint, we're configuring this with a domain, subdomain, tenant structure. That's the topology with applications and modules being mapped to those particular items. So as you look at platform topology, we might create a domain that could be in our case, like Symphony AI is the domain. Subdomain could be our, industrial division, financial crime prevention, retail, business IT. Those are all subdomains of the Symphony domain. And then departments within those, whether that's HR or IT, facilities, those get configured. We've got our different applications that we've created. So in our case, asset discovery, service management, service automation. Those are applications with specific modules. So most of these have one module in them. Asset management, one module, one module for discovery. Service management has 7. That's going to be your incident, problem, change, release. They're different modules that we would use. And then we do mapping. So in mapping case, we say for our service management application for the Symphony AI domain, and then again, Summit or Business IT is the subdomain. We have our tenants, IT, HR, facilities, and what modules are available to those particular tenants. So that's the way we can set this up in such a way that you're meeting the needs of those individual departments or tenants with the items that they would actually be leveraging without like overwhelming. There's no reason for like HR to see maybe CMDB or problem management. So we don't want to overwhelm them. In that case, we want to provide them just the items that they would actually be leveraging. We also have access control. That's where we're going to set up like our authentication through single sign-on, whether that's SAML, OAuth, form-based login. We have multiple options when it comes to that. Set up our roles, role mapping, users. All those get configured from a platform standpoint. Once we move out of platform configuration, we get into individual, application design. So when I go to Design Studio, I have my application design as well as my module design. Application as a whole, service management, asset management, discovery. Those are my application settings. And that's where you set up things like your themes, whether that's, we've got our blue theme, so it's color coded and all that for the application. When you create a new theme, if you were to create one, just call this webinar. Um, Configuring a theme will give us the ability to set different layout modes, whether that's a dark mode that you want to set, your different styles that you want to use, different colors that you might leverage in there, even getting into specific components. So as you can see with our different buttons, your buttons can be branded. So you can change those colors. This is something that like marketing would really get into as far as setting different colors, making sure it meets the, the brand for your organization. And everything in here is brandable with your, whether that be your text, your background colors, your text colors, sizes, all those things are done with the theme configuration. Also within our application settings where we're setting up like mailbox configuration, we're setting up notification parser so we can receive emails to tickets. Can also set up our service portal. That's what we looked at previously with the different portal configurations, whether that's that end user services portal, the executive dashboard. Those are all options that we have. I'm going to go into this one because it's in maintenance. Once something is in maintenance, so this is an end user portal, we go into our design. You can see here everything is configurable. So we have our different layouts. So we can split the screen however we want to split the screen. And we can add widgets to that screen through like images, search boxes, your action widgets, graphical, bar graphs, line graphs, different data widgets, or even getting into coded widgets if you do want to get into coding. As you can see, it's no code right now. So everything's drag and drop. If you want to modify the search box as an example, we can click the gear and that allows us to change what the watermark says. We can change what the search results are. If I want to add additional modules to be searched, I can add those here. You can see where I'm selecting the specific search columns. All of those are possible here, and then how those are being displayed. That's all configuring the search just right here within the platform. Logging an incident, logging a request, those are all configured in here as well. What's it doing? The data source is it's opening the new My Incidents page in the same window. How does it look? The appearance, all of those things are done in here and configured. The community one is, modified. Its data source is actually external, so it goes to a different URL. So if you wanted to add quick links into other pages like we did with the internet portal, those are quick actions. Add those in, add an appearance with the logo and positioning. All of those things are designed. All those design elements are available to you when configuring this. When you get beyond portal design, again, the application design, you get into specific modules. This is where we can configure those individual forms and also where we can do additional configurations for workflows, business rules, notifications, all of those are designed within here as well. So when we look at incident as an example, if we wanted to modify like or manage cases as an example, this is published. So we'll move this into a maintenance mode so that we can modify it. So if I go into publish, I can move to maintenance and submit that. That'll go ahead and move that into our maintenance mode and then bring us into that general tab again so that I can start modifying it. You can see with our form how it can be modified. We've got those same gear settings for the different fields, the different splitters you can see with all of the different layouts. We do have form controls, whether that's long text, short text, switch, time picker. All of those are options within here. Surveys, as well as actions, advanced elements like relationship mapping. We also have widgets that you can add, like a video, effort tracking, SLAs. All of that's possible. Again, all of those are drag and drop. Once they're pulled over here, you can then start to modify. So if I want to remove like the vendor info tab, I just delete that. It gets rid of it from my view. The timeline, if I want to modify what the timeline looks at, right now we're looking at specific fields on that timeline. This is what the icon looks like. This is the color of that. How's it being sorted? All those are design elements that can be configured here within the platform. Once we set up the form the way we want it, we just publish it. We do have the preview option, so you can see what it looks like in different resolutions, as well as what it looks like on a tablet or on mobile device as well, if you're using a mobile web browser. Let me cancel out of that. And then we'll go in quickly, just from a time standpoint. I think we're still good on time, but we'll go into workflow. Yep. Okay. So just from a workflow standpoint, I've already showed you kind of workflows when we're looking at like a service request as an example. We'll just go in and create like a new workflow. So I'm going to call this webinar. This is going to be a core flow. And we're going to do this off of the manage incidents table. When we're creating workflows, we can set these workflows to trigger based off of when the, in this case, the incident. We're looking at an incident record, when the incident's created or when it's updated, and whether or not it has conditions. So no conditions or based on specific conditions, which can be any of the fields that are part of that incident form. So any of those things can trigger a specific workflow. So let's say we just do this created with no condition. We then move it forward, and then now we're in our workflow configuration. So we can drag over like things like an approval. So we need an approval first. After we receive an approval, we might do a notification. After we get a notification, we might create a record. We might do another approval, and then we might end, the workflow. All of that's just drag and drop. Connect these with approve, reject, always. So maybe we always do an approval. If it's rejected, we move it to the end. But if it's approved, we create a record, and then we always move that to the end. So set those things up. Kind of drag and drop again your workflows of how it should look. And then your approvals can be configured. You can do what type of approval. Is it based on user attributes? Is it dynamic? Is it a static approval? So certain people. So we can select individual users that need to be approving this. What are our approval conditions? Is it everybody or a certain percentage or certain number of people that are part of that need to approve? And then what type of actions can they take? Can they refer it back to the previous person? Can they reject it and approve? Can they put it on hold? Those types of options. So set those up. Same thing with notifications. We can configure those. We can do different notification templates. So we can do email, SMS, Teams within the web app. If we select that notification, we can notification template medium, then we can select the actual notification template that we want to use. So that'll kick off based off of reaching that point in the workflow. And then we just get into that point where we publish that workflow as well once we're done with it. Business rules are very similar to that, where we can set up essentially conditions. I'll just go into one that we already have. In this particular case, we have triggers. So created or updated, again, these are split out very just like workflow. Triggers and conditions, we can set those up. And then our actions. So they're a little bit different than in the business rule in the fact that it's not this workflow with approvals and things like that. So some very similar actions like creating a record. We can update fields. We can notify. We can do an API call. So if certain conditions are met, we might want to use call an API from another system, send information out to another system, display a message on the screen. So those are options that you have within the business rule designer. And then notification designer is where we would configure different types of notifications using different mediums. Again, webinar, email, SMS, and Teams. If I do our Teams message, what does that Teams message look like? What are the different elements that I'm using? Caller information, different table notification elements. All of those can be configured as part of that template, and then we can use that template in our notifications, whether that's business rules or workflows or just in general when we send those notifications out. And that's all really from a design standpoint that we have. I want to open it up just based on time to see if we have any questions that we can answer today. So Tim, do you know if there's any? Have you seen any Q&A come through?
There's been a bunch. I'm
okay.
answering them as we go.
Okay.
So Christopher, yeah, the recording will be available. So I guess Manju and Raj, something to follow up on that. Chris would like a recording of this. And then Dave's been asking a bunch of questions. Thanks, Dave. Let's see. Can a workflow call a PowerShell script? Yep, it absolutely can. So yeah, you can run scripts on demand, API calls on demand through the workflow. And another thing is a workflow can be linked to basically anything, any object in the system. So Jason showed one for, incident management. It could be linked to assets. It can be linked to a specific user. If a user submits an incident and you want to have a workflow around that, you can do that as well. There's not really any limitations where you can stick a workflow in the system. Other than that, I think we're caught up. Jason, like I said, I've been answering them as we go.
Yeah, Dave asked a question about bleed of ticket info to train the water AI. So Dave, I'll touch on that. So we do have that Copilot experience. I think Tim had mentioned it when he was going through the overview. We haven't shown really that Copilot experience within this tool. That would be a whole nother session to go through that. But just so you are aware, we're partnered with Microsoft's Open AI platform, and we do containerize that, so that is separated for your environment. So what you're feeding into that model, that AI model, is in your environment. It is not feeding into the larger language models. It's not feeding into Microsoft's Open AI model. It's essentially a copy of that model within your environment that you can then tie in and add guardrails to in order to personalize it essentially for your environment. So it's not bleeding any of your information, your proprietary information, out to the larger language models. And then I think you've answered the other questions, Tim, from a comment standpoint on Q&A.
I think I'm caught up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just reviewing now. Yeah, I think that's all. If not, obviously everyone in attendance can certainly follow up after the webinar. If something pops up later on that you think of. And then the recording will be distributed to everyone in the group. So check your inbox for that. That usually takes like a day or two to get circulated. But we should be good. Awesome job, Jason. Thank you very, very much for walking us through the platform. Thanks everyone for spending some time out of your day. I know everyone's super busy, so we definitely appreciate it. We're going to be doing these on a regular basis. Some of you may have attended these in the past, but we're going to do them around every 2 weeks in the future as well. So thank you all for joining. Jason, any parting comments?
Yeah, just really, if there's any requests for a more personalized demo, we're more than happy to do that. Based on your specific use cases, we can show you what the platform has to offer. So we're more than happy to do that. So just feel free to reach out, and we'll get something scheduled.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Again, appreciate your time, and we'll catch you at the next one, hopefully. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.